Hello. Thank you for the introduction. This is very cool. This is my first book, so if I look like I'm really not accustomed to this, it's because I'm really not accustomed to this. So the book is called The Big Truck That Went By, and there's a bit of a spoiler in the subtitle, How the World Came to Save Haiti and Left Behind a Disaster. I'm sorry if this is breaking news, but that's what I do. I'm going to read to you a little bit about it and talk about it a little bit, and I hope that we have a good discussion, as this topic usually provokes. So I'm going to start by reading from Chapter 1, The End. And before I do that, I'm going to give myself some water. You can talk amongst yourselves for a moment. It's actually really funny. This brand of water is in the book. Had I known that, I would have actually picked that section. I can try to look for it in a little bit. But these were actually delivered to Haiti after the earthquake by the U.S. military. It's called Fiji water for a reason. It comes from Fiji, which is, if you know Caribbean geography, not in the Caribbean. And it was sent at quite a lot of expense and quite a lot of effort. It was a very beautiful project for photographers to take pictures of these gleaming pallets of bottled water coming off these planes, with the concept being that there was this incredible water crisis, this incredible food crisis. The way it was often reported was that Haiti was perhaps on the verge of a famine following the earthquake. And there were real problems, and there were real problems, and there certainly needed to be a response. But this is an example of a response that was just not terribly well thought out. It was a very nice gesture on behalf of the Fiji Water Company, and if you happen to be from the Fiji Water Company here today, hello. It was a lovely gesture, but it was sort of ridiculous because they actually do have water in Haiti. It is an island, much like Fiji. And what really needed to be done was for the water to be purified and cleaned up and distributed better, and for the existing system of water in Haiti to be improved. And frankly, long before the earthquake, for a system of potable water to be implemented and maintained, and for government institutions to be supported and formed that would be capable of doing that kind of thing, which would have eliminated a major part of the crisis when the earthquake struck, and could be done now to help eliminate and ameliorate and address present crises, including the cholera epidemic, which we can talk about a little bit later, and other crises of the future. So thank you for the visual aid, Fiji water, ladies and gentlemen. I'm now going to drink some, which may make me a bit of a hypocrite, but as you will read in the book, that is also part of my character. Okay, so the end. The phone was next to me on the bed, not ringing. Ignoring this was proving difficult. It was a hot, slow January afternoon, just past 4:45 p.m. in the hills above Port-au-Prince, and the newsless pall that fell between Christmas and Carnival offered few distractions. AP House, my bureau and residence in Pétionville, was quiet. My lone housemate, the staff photographer, was on home leave in Spain. Evans, our main translator and driver, was finishing some phone calls in the large first-floor office space before heading down the hill to his stepfamily's place, where he had been living since his divorce. The only other person around was Widler, a hard-working, taciturn Haitian mechanic, who was outside replacing the brake pads under my hopeless 13-year-old Geo tracker. I was upstairs in my room. The call I was waiting for was from someone at AP. I don't know, maybe actually sitting in the crowd right now. The call I was waiting for was from someone at AP telling me that I could ship out. After 2.5 years of disasters and riots, of personal and political intrigue, money-picked cars, and not one utility I could count on, I was done with Haiti. My friends were great. The house was terrific, a 2-story with creek stone walls on the first floor and a big terrace set back among hibiscuses and lime trees behind the Hotel Villa Creole. From the slum rising behind it, the sounds of children playing filled the day, and I'd fall asleep to hand-clap hallelujahs from the church at night. But AP had long talked about getting rid of the house, and my foreign friends, done with their 2-year rotations, had mostly shipped off to the next crisis. AP's international editor in New York told me I could pick my next position so long as it was Kabul, Lagos, or Baghdad. WAP. I chose Afghanistan. It sounded like a good place for a break. All that was left was for the phone to ring. To kill time, I played online trivia against a friend in the States. I was sitting on my bed in gray boxers and a sleeveless undershirt. I'll allow you to picture that for a moment. Sweating out the last of the Tuesday heat. We started a new game. Name a human body part for every letter of the alphabet, in a minute or less. I didn't know jejunum was spelled like that. I typed into the chat window as time ran out. You win. I heard a loud rumbling outside. I looked out the window, but the yard was empty. Must be a water truck, I thought. Then the bed started to vibrate. I heard plates rattling in the kitchen downstairs. The wooden mask from Mexico I'd always worried might fall started to sway. Medicine bottles, suntan lotion, and bug spray shimmied on the round black table I always left cluttered because I'd never counted on staying in Haiti long enough to get a dresser. There had been a rumble on the island before, a little one, when I was the correspondent on its other side in the Dominican Republic. But this couldn't be one of those. I stood up from the bed, bare feet against the wooden floor, and felt nothing. The roar outside got louder. Then the floor started to move. The vibrations got thicker. Christ, maybe it is one of those, I thought. What do you do in one of those? A doorway. Something about a doorway. I walked toward it, but for some reason kept going into the hall. Then everything shoved. I lowered myself, or maybe I fell. Then a shove came the other way. Then another and another. Suddenly the house was an airplane in a storm. Everything was falling. A framed photo from Jerusalem barely missed my head and cracked on the floor. Everything was flowing now, blasts coming through the walls, waves through the floor. There was a contest between the up and down and the side to side. Who was going to shove harder, the up and down or the side to side? They were both winning. There was a mechanical roar. I answered, no, 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 no. The world turned gray and everything blurred, things falling long after there should have been nothing left to fall. The horizontal slats of the crank-out windows shot from their frames and burst across the floor. I watched the front wall crack in two, daylight pushing through the throbbing dust. With every heartbeat, the floor disappeared from under me and reappeared and was gone. It was going to fall. I was going to fall. I heard a sound like trees being mowed down in a forest. It was the house next door collapsing, seconds to go. I thought about running through the shattered glass and tumbling down the stairs, but there was no time. When the second floor went, I could either be under it or ride down on top of it. I went with on top and braced for the pain. That's the beginning of the end. Quite literally, in fact. Fortunately, at that moment, not of me. So I'm going to jump forward a little bit here. I'm going to just read a couple of short sections. So the book actually takes a large step back after the first chapter and goes through quite a lot of Haitian history, back approximately 60 million years. And then comes back forward and talks about the immediate aftermath, the day after. The first chapter goes through, there's much more of the first chapter than what I just read. And then we come into a chapter here called The Crossroads, which is about the immediate tip of the spear response when the things that most of us outside of Haiti saw on television of the responders coming in and the military and such. And so I talk about a lot of different things that were happening at that time. But one of the things that I'm going to talk about here is search and rescue because, well, I'll explain why with the first sentence. Search and rescue was the highest priority of the responders. That's what it means. Ban Ki-moon called it the most urgent need, and Obama noted the 6 U.S. search teams in all his speeches. General Keane, the head of Joint Task Force Haiti, informed Southcom the morning after the quake that, quote, not hundreds but thousands would need to be extracted from the rubble. The rescue team's specialized technology and training exemplified the advantages the developed world offered Haiti. Sensitive microphones, heat-seeking devices, rescue dogs. News coverage centered on the rescues. Journalists traded vigils to ensure audiences would not miss a single survivor being pulled from the rubble. A successful rescue was like the earthquake in reverse. From unfathomable destruction, life. The tone of the reporting took on a religious tinge. Quote, a New York rescue squad pulled 2 miracles from the rubble of Haiti, led the New York Daily News. As California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, a man who knew the power of images, remarked, quote, many of us were able to watch the California rescuers live on television performing all of these miracles. The first U.S. team to reach Haiti was dispatched to UN headquarters, and after 10 hours of sawing